Thank you, Madam Speaker. I represent one of the most rural areas in Washington, and the great 35th district, and we have the lowest per capita police in all of Washington state in my district. The least amount of police on the roads, the least amount of coverage, and a lot of territory. My district, Madam Speaker, is the size of Rhode Island. And what hurts is that the neighboring urban communities can do more to pay police officers and get more closer to that lowest per capita police line. But my community is rural and poor, it cannot. This funding is absolutely necessary for communities like mine. And not only that, it crushes morale of our law enforcement. There's many other reasons their morale has been crushed over the years, but not having that critical backup when you go on that scary call, I mean, they're still human beings, and they got to go down the dark alley or into the dark woods all by themselves because there is no backup. Having only 5 deputies on any given shift to cover 1,000 square miles and answer calls, sometimes it could take them 20 minutes to get to a call. And Madam Speaker, I really briefly wanted to talk about our transit, our mass transit, and what's going on there. I was watching one of our local news reports during the interim, and they interviewed a man who tries to ride the transit line every day to and from work. He pays for a pass to ride the transit line. And he stopped, and he doesn't want to pay for it anymore because it's not safe. There was a record amount of assaults on Sound Transit lines. And when you look at some of the pictures, there's like blood on the walls and the seats. It's nasty and it's scary. And the interviewer says to him, Madam Speaker, what would it take for you to ride the bus again? What would it take for you to ride the transit again? And he says, armed police and clean this thing up. Because UW, Madam Speaker, does a study also over the interim, and they find that like 99% of our mass transit has, fentanyl residue or other drug residue on the lines. That's not safe. Earlier, we passed a bill, a Class C felony for election workers because some lunatic had put fentanyl powder into a ballot and sent it in. But we accept that powder and that residue in our mass transit. It doesn't make any sense to me, Madam Speaker. When you have somebody's car stolen and somebody smokes fentanyl or meth in it, they don't just clean it up and give you the car back. The cost for the cleanup is so severe for the car, they total the car. They total the car and cut you a check so you can go get a new car, hopefully not a Kia or a Hyundai. And here's the deal, Madam Speaker. If we're going to invest a lot of money into our mass transit, we want to exude to people that you are going to be safe when you ride transit. It is going to be clean when you ride transit. So let's put some armed security, some transit officers on the bus lines, on the transit lines, and let's clean this thing up so that people feel safe and also clean when they ride it. Now, Madam Speaker, let me talk to you really quickly about the encampments. Already, Portland and Los Angeles have done what this amendment seeks to do. Near our daycares, our schools, everywhere else that this amendment talks about, we want to basically make sure that
the speaker's having trouble hearing. Would urge people to take their conversations to the wings. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Lost my train of thought there. The encampments, already Portland and LA have done what this amendment is doing. So by investing in this, we can do what already progressive cities on the West Coast are already starting to realize. Already the state of Oregon is going back on their very lax policies on drugs, and they're starting to realize this. Madam Speaker, me and you need to realize this as well. And we could do that starting with this amendment. Now, we do have funds in the budget for public safety. But when our crime rates are as high as they are, our larceny thefts, our auto thefts, our homicides, our assaults, property theft being in the top 5, retail theft. By the way, the insurance companies are starting to think about leaving our state because of that high retail theft crime. We're not investing enough. We just had a press conference yesterday, Madam Speaker. It was great. It was a bipartisan press conference about stopping the scourge of fentanyl. We should do more to put these funds into our drug task forces, our narcotics task forces, so we can put the people who are mass dealing and distributing death, garbage and junk like fentanyl into our streets. We should throw the book at them, and we should throw them in prison so they never see the light of day again, because every time they deal one of those pills, it will kill somebody. Please vote yes, Madam Speaker.